America, it's time we talked about Doge. No, not the meme with the Shiba Inu. We're talking about something far less adorable and far more concerning. DOGE-ing has become synonymous with a wave of mass layoffs across federal agencies. It's a story of supposed efficiency, shrouded in questionable data, and leaving a trail of very real consequences. This whole thing kicked off under the Trump administration, with Elon Musk at the helm of a newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Their mission? To trim the fat, cut the waste, and, well, Doge the government. Sounds good on paper, right? Except when you realize the fat is often essential personnel, and the waste is vital funding for things like, public health and national security. The tactics employed were about as subtle as a rocket launch, because of course, Elon Musk. There was the deferred resignation proposal, essentially a financial incentive for employees to quit, which a judge thankfully blocked after 75,000 people signed up. Then came the mass layoffs of probationary employees, those with less than a year on the job, potentially affecting hundreds of thousands. So, who exactly felt the bite of DOGE-ing? Well, pretty much everyone. We're talking over 1,000 employees from Veterans Affairs, leaving our veterans more vulnerable. Over at the CDC, 700 people were shown the door, right as we're grappling with, well, everything. And Homeland Security, they lost 130 employees, including some working on election security, which feels like a plot line from a dystopian political thriller. But here we are. The impact of these layoffs goes far beyond just numbers on a spreadsheet. We're talking about real people, with families and mortgages, suddenly finding themselves out of work. And it's not just about them. These cuts have ripple effects, weakening federal agencies, slowing down vital services, and potentially putting our health, safety, and security at risk. Imagine being a veteran waiting longer for healthcare because the VA is short-staffed, or a scientist at the CDC unable to do critical research because their lab is underfunded. This isn't efficiency, it's a slow-motion dismantling of the very institutions that keep our country running. Now, the supposed justification for all this DOGE-ing was, of course, saving taxpayer money. DOGE boasted about slashing billions from the budget, but when you look closer, those numbers start to look as stable as a rocket landing in a hurricane. Experts have disputed DOGE's claims, pointing out that many of the savings were either exaggerated or simply the result of routine government actions. In fact, some argue that these layoffs will end up costing us more in the long run. Think about it. Unemployment benefits for laid-off workers, the cost of rehiring and training new staff, not to mention the potential economic fallout from a weakened public sector. It's like trying to save money by tearing out the foundation of your house. Sure, you're spending less on repairs right now, but just wait until the whole thing collapses. And the lack of transparency from DOGE hasn't helped. Their much-touted wall of receipts meant to detail their cost-cutting measures has been criticized for its questionable accuracy and lack of context. It's the equivalent of balancing your checkbook by just writing down less money on every other line. It doesn't inspire much confidence. So, what can we do about this DOGE-infested mess? Well, for starters, we need to demand accountability. We need to push for investigations into DOGE's claims, their methods, and the true impact of their actions. We need to hold our elected officials responsible for allowing this to happen, and for ensuring that any future attempts at efficiency don't come at the cost of our well-being. But most importantly, we need to stay informed and engaged. Don't just scroll past the headlines. Dig deeper, ask questions, and make your voice heard. Because when it comes to our government, silence is not golden, it's just making it easier for the DOGE to eat our homework. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the state of our government. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe invest in some canned goods because who knows what the future holds.